Do you see any parallels with this team and that team, and what did getting 7 early end up doing for that team? Because you guys actually had an easier time deeper in the playoffs after that.
Well, I will say this: it doesn't really matter. No teams are the same. Everybody goes in their own journey, and if we end up winning it all this year, this will be a story to tell. It's just the way it is. It's funny how often you see that. It's the way it is. Every year is different. Every journey is different. We're here because we put ourselves here. You can look at that in a good way or a bad way. But it is what it is. So, do I take things from that? I take things from everything we do. I take things from our wins, our losses, and all my experiences. This team didn't have any experiences, and so they're learning everything right now.
We'll go to Andrew.
Hey, Doc, in your reviews of the second halves of these past 2 games, are there any breakdowns you just felt in specific areas are uncharacteristic of this group in terms of where they're
No, it's no like this. There's no secret like potion that some happened. The 2 things that we didn't do clearly defensively, they shot almost 60% in the second half. The one thing that did stand out, they went to the free throw line like on every play. I think from the time when Murray went down with that injury, I think their next 12 out of 15 points for free throws. I think that's human nature. You see a guy goes down and there's no call on the play. And then the next thing you know, you're at the free throw line, and give Denver credit because they understood that and they started being aggressive. What I see the most is our pace, offensively. Now, some of that is because they're scoring, but some of that I thought was self-inflicted. And then defensively, we have to be better.
And Doc, you said that you saw this team doesn't have any experience together. I mean, Kawhi is that guy who has been in Game 7.
I have no experience with this team.
But in terms of Game 7s, he knows what it's like to play in new situations. What have you seen from him? Is he a guy who talks about?
He's unshakable. Like Kawhi, you can't guarantee that he'll play well or not. Because he's human and all players are. But the moment won't be too big. Like that's the one thing. Like with him, you just know that, and so that's comforting to know that.
Thanks, Doc.
No, we'll go down to Dan in the bubble.
Do you know what you're going to say to the team tomorrow yet?
No, I'm going to say, let's go win. Like, there's no rah-rah speeches are very overrated, Dan. They last about 3 minutes, and you come running out and you're fired up, and then 3 minutes later, you got to focus on playing basketball. So there's no like secret speech. That's for the movies. The real thing is you got to have them prepared in preparation. And so that's what we'll do the next 2 days. We'll get them doing what we've done to get the leads and continue to do it. But there's nothing secret or magical. It's about playing basketball, manning up, moving the ball, doing all the things that we can do. Other than that, that's about it.
We'll stay in the bubble with Michael.
Good writer, so why don't you give me a good speech?
I am a good writer.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. I do appreciate
That's what I hear. Washburn told me that.
Gotcha. No.
Did I throw you off with that one? Yeah.
Yeah. But you said yesterday you clearly have the right formula.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, how much of this conversation is about what you do right, what you do wrong, X's and O's, or is it just, look, you guys know what to do, you just got to do it?
It's a little bit of both because, listen, give them credit. Like, they are playing hard. We're playing the 3rd best team in the West, and they're good. They're relentless, resilient, and but like what we've done to get the leads has worked continuously, and then when we stop doing it, it has worked the other way too. And we've proven to ourselves that, even going back to Game 2, I think it was Game 2 that they won. It's a mirror of Game 4 and 5 and Game 5 and 6 in the second halves. So they are doing something that they enjoy doing too. And when we take them out of it, we're good. And when we don't, we're not.
We'll go to Ohm.
Doc, what do you think you'll learn from your team tomorrow in their first Game 7 together, and what have you learned from your past teams that have gone through a Game 7?
I don't do that because teams are so different. Your journey is so different. But I hope what I learned from our team is that we win game sevens. You know, I don't know what we'll learn. You will learn something for sure. And if you get through this, it will definitely serve you well. There's no doubt about that. Because when you go through things like this in adversity, and you come out of it on the other end, on the right end of it, it absolutely makes you a better team.
Move to Miriam.
Hey there, Doc. Obviously Pat is such a wonderful competitor, and he's not his full self. He's limited. With the foul trouble he's been experiencing, like what do you tell him?
That just can't happen. You know, he is a competitor and he plays hard, but he can't put himself in a position where he's fouled out in 17 minutes. That just he's better than that. He knows that, and that obviously hurts our team and our rotations. You know, when you think about like last night as an example, we have a chance to go up big, but Pat and PG are in foul trouble, and it limits your rotations. It limits what you can do. But that's the unplanned stuff that actually happens in games. You know that you can't control. You can control not doing it, hopefully, as a player on the floor. But when it happens, it definitely throws the rotations that you had set for the game out of the window. I mean, the fact that Pat didn't play the last 4 minutes of the game, that hurts us.
Go to Mark Medina.
Hey, Doc. I know obviously every game is important, but just from your coaching experience, how would you compare what it's like coaching in a Game 7 as opposed to any other playoff game?
You know, I guess the difference is you don't worry about minutes as much. You can extend minutes. Now, extending minutes can be dangerous because some guys just can't handle them. And so if they can't handle them, you can't do them. You know, you tend to stay on plays longer, you know, where, you know, one of your plays that have been working that you may want to hold, you don't hold. You started the game out with them. And you hope that your players can get to that, you know, single possession mentality, because that's really important in Game 7s.
Go to Tomer.
Hey, Doc, when it comes to a Game 7, having played 6 games prior, how easy is it, I guess, to make adjustments? And then how hard is it to avoid sort of overreactions?
Well, you can't overreact. That's a fact. You are what you are. Like, I'm not going to go today in practice and put in 15 new plays. And first of all, they wouldn't work. Secondly, we wouldn't run them very well, you know. But you can tweak for sure. You can tweak the rotations a little bit. Again, you can spread your minutes out a little longer. And you can really hone in on what you've done well, and really, like, you got to like drill it into your guys' head. This is what we do well. This is what we do well. This is what we do well. And we do that now, but we do get it. We've gotten away from it. You know, we've gotten away from it 2 games in a row, and so we just got to stay disciplined.
We'll go over to Mark.
Doc, how difficult and how important will it be to attack Jokic when you have the ball and try to get him into foul trouble early? How much of a goal is that?
You know, Mark, we won't try to get him in foul trouble, because doing that throws you off. And, you know, it's not like, you know, like he's guarding Zub. So we're not going to feature Zub for 15, 20 plays, you know, and every time you do that, Kawhi or PG or Lou or someone doesn't have the ball. But we want to involve him a lot. Like, he's good. Like, there's no doubt about that. And he's playing extended minutes. The last 2 games, he's up at 40 now. So we have to make him work as much as we can make him work.
Thanks. We'll go to Cam.
Hey, Coach. I'd like to know how concerning is it to you that you have to inspire and try to encourage your guys to kind of show some life, show some spirit, show that sense of energy in the game? It was a point in the 3rd quarter of last game where, you know, you're pleading with them to kind of to come on. How concerning is that to you?
Not concerned. It happens. You know, it does. Like, listen, guys, these are human beings. Yeah, I know we don't think that at times, but they were rolling. They were playing great. And then all of a sudden, you know, a bunch of calls didn't go their way. They got frustrated with all the fouls that were being called. They start missing shots. They had turnovers. Like this game is mental too, man. And it's easy to get lost. And I thought a lot of that happened last night. We had just blown a lead, and so I thought the stress of that, you can see it on our guys. You know, they're looking at the scoreboard too. They know they have an opportunity. They want to win worse than everybody, like they do. Like, and you know, but that doesn't mean they're going to play perfectly. This is not a game of perfect.
We'll go to Thomas.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you about Lou Will. You know, he's had his struggles this series. I believe he's.
Sorry, he cut out there. Let me see if I can get him back on.
Sorry.
Thomas, you there? There you go.
Sorry. I just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of Lou's series. He's had his struggles this series, only shot, I believe, above 50% once in this series. Is there anything specifically that they're doing, or has he just kind of not had a rhythm this series?
Probably the latter. You know, he's had some fantastic shots. I thought last night was his best stretch. You know, unfortunately, it's like Lou got to the basket 3 times in a row and missed all 3 layups. You know, one he was in between a dunk and a layup and missed. The 2 others were challenged. I think one by Porter, one by Plumlee. They were good shots, and the ball bounces in. And you know, players need to see the ball go in. It'd been amazing if those 3 had gone in. We maybe would have had a Lou game. You know, but he's right there. I love. Last night, I thought for the first time, really since the playoffs have started, that he played with Lou Williams' pace. That's all I've been telling him. You know, the results will happen after that, but just get back to your pace, and I thought he did that.
Thanks. We'll have time for one more, and we'll go back to Miriam.
Obviously, Kawhi and PG are who they are, but is there anything more that you need from them in situations like this?
No, just PG can't get in foul trouble. I think he's been in foul trouble at least 2, maybe 3 of the games. And at times he's not even guarding one of their key guys. So we just got to keep him on the floor. The foul trouble by our guards, they have been very hurtful in this series, not just the last 2 games. We got to keep our guards on the floor because when we don't, we got to go to lineups defensively that are.